told the audience, "A relatively small percentage of the population consumes the vast majority of the healthcare budget for diseases that are very well known and, by and large, behavioral. That is, they're sick because of how they choose to lead their lives, not because of factors beyond their control, such as the genes they were born with." Levy continued, "Even as far back as when I was in medical school," he enrolled at Harvard in 1955, "many articles demonstrated that 80% of the healthcare budget was consumed by 5 behavioral issues." He didn't bother to name them, but you don't need an MD to guess what he was talking about. Too much smoking, drinking, and eating. Too much stress, not enough exercise. Then the really shocking news was presented by Dr. Edward Miller, Dean of the Medical School and Chief Executive Officer of the hospital at Johns Hopkins University. He talked about patients whose arteries are so clogged that any kind of exertion is terribly painful for them. It hurts too much to take a long walk. It hurts too much to make love. So, surgeons have to implant pieces of plastic to prop open their arteries, or remove veins from their legs to stitch near the heart, so the blood can bypass the blocked passages. The procedures are traumatic and expensive. They can cost more than $100,000. More than 1.5 million people every year in the United States undergo coronary bypass graft or angioplasty surgery at a total price of around $60 billion. Although these surgeries are astonishing feats, they are no more than temporary fixes. The operations relieve the patient's pain, at least for a while, but only rarely, fewer than 3% of the cases, prevent the heart attacks they're heading towards or prolong their lives. The bypass grafts often clog up within a few years, the angioplasties in only a few months. Knowing these grim statistics, doctors tell their patients, if you want to keep the pain from coming back, and if you don't want to have to repeat the surgery, and if you want to stop the course of your heart disease before it kills you, then you have to switch to a healthier lifestyle. You have to stop smoking, stop drinking, stop overeating, start exercising, and relieve your stress. But very few do. If you look at people after coronary artery bypass grafting 2 years later, 90% of them have not changed their lifestyle, Miller said. And that's been studied over and over and over again. And so we're missing some link in there. Even though they know they have a very bad disease, and they know they should change their lifestyle, for whatever reason, they can't. That's been studied over and over and over again. The dean of the nation's most famous medical school said so with confidence. But following the conference, when I searched through the archives of the leading scientific journals, I came across something strange, something that just didn't fit. In 1993, Dr. Dean Ornish, a professor of medicine at the University of California at San Francisco, convinced the Mutual of Omaha Insurance Company to pay for an unusual experiment. The researchers recruited 194 patients who suffered from severely clogged arteries and could have bypass grafts or angioplasties covered by their insurance plans. Instead, they signed up for a trial. The staffers helped them quit smoking and switch to an extreme vegetarian diet that derived fewer than 10% of its calories from fat. In places like Omaha, they shifted from steaks and fries to brown rice and greens. The patients got together for group conversations twice a week, and they also took classes in meditation, relaxation, yoga, and aerobic exercise, which became parts of their daily routines. The program lasted for only a year. After that, they were on their own. But 3 years from the start, the study found 77% of the patients had stuck with these lifestyle changes and safely avoided the need for heart surgery. They had halted or, in many cases, reversed the progress of their disease. If the medical establishment was resigned to the supposed fact that only 1 out of every 10 people can change, even in a crisis, then how did Dr. Ornish's team inspire and motivate nearly 8 out of 10 of their heart patients to accomplish and sustain such dramatic transformations?